I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, guys. We're recruiting right now. But I want to congratulate the baseball team and one of the best games I've ever watched, and Coach Van Horn and the fellas and his staff, and I wish them the best at North Carolina. But it was just something I think we're all about. The toughness and the grit of the team was unbelievable. That's about it. So if you guys want to ask me some questions, it's good to see you. It's been a while.
All right, raise your hand if you've got a question, or let me know in the chat. Trey, you want to get it started?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about your contract a little bit. Obviously, all that's out.
Okay.
Stuff, a lot of incentives in there, and if you win, if you were to get fired, I guess if you win a lot and they fired you, you get 75%, but not as much if you didn't have a winning percentage. What did you think about the structure of it and everything now that everything's out?
A lot of it, Trey, went back to my original contract. The number of wins changed from 6, 7, 8 to 7, 8, 9 was a change in there, which we certainly understand. The program is different, than what it was a couple of years ago. And I thought, in contracts, Trey, really, we all want to be treated fair. That's it. It's not, and sometimes the eye of the beholder is not unrealistic. And in this case, maybe I was. I don't have any idea. But I was very, very pleased and happy with the contract and the incentives in it. If I want to get paid more money, we need to win football games. And if we don't, then it goes down to 50% in the buyout if they happen to fire me and things of that nature, if we have a losing record. And so I thought it was fair for both. And I was very cautious that I wanted it to be fair for the university as well. I think it put me about 9th in the SEC, and I've only been a head coach for 2 years. And I think to me, it was fair. I was ecstatic to get it. And I thought Jimmy Sexton did a wonderful job with his communication through myself. And you'd have to ask Hunter, but I think they have a really good relationship from this contract. And I'm pleased that this will be my last coaching job. And the non-compete in the SEC is basically stating that stability. And that's what I wanted. I want to be able to use it in recruiting, and we certainly have as recently as 5 minutes ago.
Since the spring has been over, Dorian Gerald announced that he plans to come back to Arkansas. What does that look like in terms of the 85 scholarship total for his waiver process? Because this will be his 7th year out of high school, and how it all unfolded. Yeah,
great question. There were several things that went through with Dorian. Obviously, before the 85, where the number was 25 plus 7, then it went to 85. Well, we didn't have a scholarship, nor did I believe that Dorian would get cleared to participate either by the 7th year or by physically. He received both of those late, about a day or two after the 85 came out. We had an available scholarship. I called him and asked him if he'd like to come back because I believe he can help the football team when healthy. He's shown that when healthy, and so we offered him a scholarship, and he accepted, and he's the first 2 days in here he's working his tail off, and the kids, more importantly than anything, the kids were really excited to see him come back.
So you are at 85 right now.
We're at 84.
84. Okay.
Yeah. We're at 84.
Andrew?
Yeah, Coach, I know as you enter the summer months, your staff is kind of limited in terms of what you can do with the team hands-on. Who are some of the players that you're expecting to kind of lead the charge from that perspective and step up for you?
Well, offensively, I think the offensive line has a really good veteran group where they can kind of control those 5, with Ricky and Dalton and really Brady and Bo and those guys. And I'm high on Tyke East. But at the same time, KJ has to be, he has to be that leader. I think Rocket Sanders is a guy that can be a leader for us. I do want to say Dominique Johnson really looks good. I mean, really looks good. He's ahead of schedule. And then in your wide receiver group, I think we're still searching, trying to find who's going to be that leader in that group. But I think we have a lot of good candidates, in that group. And then D-line wise, obviously Isaiah Nichols would be the guy that they turn to. Linebackers would be, of course, Bump. And then in the back end, you have several, but in the back end, you'd have Simeon, Cat, obviously, and those are the older guys, along with Clark and those guys. So I think we have plenty of leadership on the team. I think we're a hungry team. And I think that we are working extremely hard, even though it's just been a couple of days.
Also wanted to ask you about the recruiting front. Seems like things are kind of picking up there. How good do you and your staff feel about things kind of heading into the month of June?
Well, we feel good. Obviously, we have a few guys committed now, and we have 33 official visits between starting of this week and through the end of June. You have to hit. We're recruiting the same guys everybody else is. But the relationships that I have with the kids and that our coaching staff has with the guys we're recruiting, I think it's going really well. And we're going to have a lot of really good players on campus. And whether you land them or not, I don't know. But certainly the ones we have on campus, we want.
Christina.
Hi, Coach. I have another contract question. Speaking of the non-compete agreement, that's pretty unique among SEC coaches. So how did that come to be? And then how are you factoring that into your recruiting pitch?
Well, non-compete, basically how it came is I shot my mouth off on Scott Van Pelt and ESPN. And then, I was told you shot your mouth off, so, you might as well sign it in there. Then once I got to thinking about it, I thought, you know what, this could help us in recruiting because, again, we're one of eight programs of 130 that have the two coordinators and the head coach coming back for year 3. So, portal's been around a long time for football coaches. And so I thought we could sell some stability and that's why I wanted it in the contract. And I told the people of Arkansas that this would be my last job. And I wanted a piece of paper to confirm what my mouth said.
And then as far as, sorry,
Yes.
what'd you say?
I'm sorry, you asked something else too. I don't know if I answered your entire question.
You did, yes. But I also was wondering, you mentioned, Dominique Johnson, and what's the status of him and some of the other guys that missed a lot of the spring ball, like Dalton Wagner, guys like that?
Yeah, everybody we believe is going to be ready to go throughout the summer. Now, there might be some limitations, but we believe by August the 4th, the reporting date. As of right now, I'm not talking about, you can have injuries in the summertime as well, but as of right now, we feel like we'll have the full team. The only question mark there might be Taurean Carter. It may take him a little bit longer to get ready, but we don't know at this point. But that would be probably the only question mark that would be there. Good to see you.
Scotty.
Yes, Sam, just going back to the contract again, what is the feeling of having it done? Like, is it kind of a weight off your shoulders? Is it invigorating? I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but how would you detail it?
Yeah, in all honesty, even though you're not trying to think about it, and as it continues to go longer and longer, Scotty, it wears on you some, and you don't want it to, because you're getting paid, you have a job to do. But when we signed it, it was a relief and an honor, to be honest with you. It was an honor that the school thought enough of me to give me a longer contract and obviously financial benefit of that and things of that nature. But yeah, it was probably a relief, but it was also very humbling and an honor that I can you know, as long as we keep winning and things, I can be the head coach at Arkansas for several years. And that was the goal of it.
You know, since we last spoke to you, made some roster additions with Matt Landers, Terry Hampton, Taylor Lewis. What do you, if you can speak on them, just what do you like about them, and how do you see them?
Well, we, you know, 2 days, but I like the kids. They seem to fit in. Our team's really good of welcoming. You're not worried about the portal. I worried that how would the old hats accept the portal guys. But if you really look at it, you have 25 portal guys every year coming in from high school. So it's not like now it may be a little different deal because you bring in an older guy in, you know what I mean? But our team's been really good at accepting the guys. And so far, Matt's done a really good job down there along with Terry. Haven't seen much of Taylor yet, but we certainly will.
You know, Bob is traveling today, and he wanted me to ask you about Isaiah Satane and just maybe expectations for him.
Yeah, well, the expectations are high, you know, just like they are on everybody. But he's such a talent, and I'll say this: he's the 2 days that I've seen him down there. He doesn't say much and he works his butt off, you know, and that's exactly what I thought he would do coming from, you know, a coach's son, and certainly his mother was a highly touted athlete as well. So, but he's done a really good job, and we're going to give him every opportunity to get on the field this year.
Otis.
Yeah, Coach, thanks for talking to us today. Hey,
Sure.
I was going to ask, is Carter look like he will be able to play at some point this season, Sam?
We're hoping. I mean, we're hoping, you know, it's some kids heal faster than others.
Right.
So we're hoping. He's working awful hard to heal up his, you know, get his injury healed as fast as possible. But, you know, there are some restrictions, obviously, on the injury that he had. But he's working his tail off. If there's anybody that's going to get back at some point this year, I believe it'd be him, though. He's got a strong desire to do that, along with Dominic Johnson. I mean, Dominic Johnson is down there running right now. He's looking good.
Coach, we haven't talked to you since the 85. I mean, the 25 yearly got removed, you know. So how do you feel? You like that 85? You know, like if you have a bunch of kids get in the portal or something or injured, you know, you like the 85 overall?
I do. I like the 85 for 85 because you can manage your roster better.
Right.
You know, now I believe there has to be a portal window. We're working on it through the AFCA. We spoke about that in the SEC head coaches meeting. I think there has to be a window in there just simply for manage your roster, and the kids need to know there's a couple of windows to go into. Now that hadn't been passed, but I have a couple of windows that they can, you know, after the season and after spring ball. I don't know if it'll pass or not, but it's a nightmare. I'll tell you where it would be unfair if someone got fired and you brought a new coach in, and you know how the world is that, you know, kids leave like crazy when someone gets fired, you know. It would be impossible without the 85 for 85 to get your roster. You'd be playing at 65 and 70, which would be very unfair. You know, I went through it 2 years ago, but we didn't have a whole lot of kids leave. But I'm 100% for the 85.
I've got one more quick one. On the you said you had 84 on scholarship now. Maybe did assume this 1 or 2 quit after spring ball that hasn't been announced, Coach?
No, we kicked a couple kids back. Is where, you know, because you guys might be putting numbers together and it might look at 86. You know, we had 2 we could fall back to last semester. So no, I don't. I'm looking at my board real quick. You knew of. Let me say this: everybody that's left, you know about. How about that? And but we kicked a couple of back because our numbers with the the numbers would dictate that we could.
Coach, appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.
Rashad?
Hey, Coach, Hunter told me last week that you actually signed the contract down there, got finished down there. What was that celebration like in the place you guys went?
Man, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm so fortunate, you know, I mean, I really am, and so honored. I mean, I am. But we were at a get together Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday night. And Hunter had the contract, and we went up to his room and signed it. And then the university took all kinds of, you know, the faculty rep and you know, the administration and Muss and Coach Neighbors, and of course Van Horn he was working, and we all went to dinner. But it was a wonderful night for not only myself but for Jamie as well. And it was really cool that we got to celebrate that night together, and just a privilege and honor to be the head coach at Arkansas. And that's how I felt.
After being in those meetings, what have you learned about the SEC that you might not have known about before?
That's a good question. You know, we can sit in that meeting and be grown men, and all 14 head coaches are for the kids. They're all about what's best for the sport, first about the kids and what's best for the sport. We had really good dialogue. There's a lot of brilliant guys in that room. You know, I was fortunate enough to sit next to Coach Saban and Coach Harsin. You know, they put us in alphabetical order, and a lot of good things coming out of that meeting from everybody. I was a little, you know, I'm on the board of the AFCA, and so some of the questions, you know, they would ask me, what's the AFCA, you know, what are they thinking about, you know, because that's everybody, all divisions, high school, everybody. And so I felt, you know, a little important in the room. I don't know if I was or not, but I tried to just sit there and not say a whole lot. But, you know, I got asked a few questions. I tried to listen and learn. But to answer your question, I think there's a lot of really fine football coaches in the SEC that care about the kids and care about the sport. And that's what I learned the most about.
Thanks.
Ray Biddy, wrap us up.
Yeah, Coach, I was curious about I don't know what you call it, the 8-week conditioning cycle. What do you call it? Cycle? What do you call it?
8-week summer conditioning.
Okay. Your first couple of years when you got here, it seemed like it was always like, we got to get bigger. We got to get bigger. You're pretty big now. I was curious what the focus is right now.
Well, just getting in shape, and we're focusing on the mind. You know, your mind, you can do about whatever your mind will let you, you know, and that's something that we're really concentrating on that this summer. We're working on our ball skills. I think a lot of us were letting the weight room do their thing, which they're outstanding. And then in our meetings and stuff, we're trying to teach the game more. We're trying to teach the technique. We're trying to teach the game, and we're working on our ball skills. You know, if we have an opportunity to have the ball underneath our arm, we want to make sure we keep it there. And certainly, if we have an opportunity to pick a pass or catch one, that we don't want drops. So a 5-minute period of today actually is going to be about ball skills. We're trying to teach the young guys. We think we have some talented kids that still came in, and we certainly have to get a look at those guys. And we can see them a little bit more this summer with the new rule tray. Instead of walking out of there and they have to do things on their own, we've got 23 minutes a day with them. I mean, excuse me, every other or Tuesday, Thursday, 2 hours a week total.
And it's summer camp time. How important are camps, and how has that changed? So, I mean, it seems like you used to fill up a roster with guys that came to your camp, but it seems like it's changed a lot over the years.
It really has. You know, first of all, you're coming off of spring where you just saw the guys. You know, certainly hope you saw the right ones, and then you come in. I do believe the calendar is a little bit longer. You know, now it seems to be. I don't know if that's just because I'm a head coach or what, but you know, you can have a guy on campus on an official visit forever, right now, not the length of 48 hours, but, we had them in May, had them in June, used to, couldn't have a guy in May. So camp wise, I think we all are identifying younger, 23s, 24s, 25s, 26s. And I think that's really what camp is about right now, is they're all about recruiting. And I think now it's about identifying the guys in the 24, 25, 26 class, where in the past it was, is he good enough for us now, type deal. Well, we've already seen him. So we pretty much have a pretty good idea with it, obviously with the internet and everything else, you can see them a lot more. You get every tape on every game. You still want to work them out, but the kids don't, there's not a whole lot of working out. If I've got 20 offers, it's hard, it's hard to get the young man to work out nowadays, so that's changed. But I think the answer to your question is just a lot younger. You're trying to find younger guys than used to.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
Good to see you.